What up, everybody? Welcome to Animation Study Buddies. I'm your host, Wade, and I'm here with my buddy Wayne Carlisi from One on One Animation. What up, Wayne?
Not much. What are we studying here today, dude?
Well, we're looking at this piece from Buccaneer Bunny and pondering the question, is this drawing in the right place?
That is a big question, and we got to figure this out because I'm not sure.
All right, then. Well, let's get into it.
Let's see how he gets out of the water. So he comes up here. Let's see the Okay, grabs oars. Is that the antic? I think that might be the antic. Oh, there's the antic. Oh, it's a small one. So he grabs the oars, goes back, then comes forward. There's the antic. Whoa. Now, I didn't notice this. So he does a little movement right in here.
Okay.
Grabs the oars, pulls them out, goes up, and then sinks back into the water for the big antic. Interesting. And he just comes straight out.
Go back a couple of frames where he's like coming out of the water.
Sure.
That one.
This one?
One more. That's cool.
That is
where
cool.
They just like cut off his legs, but it reads because of the effect.
Yeah, exactly. Comes out, then his legs suddenly appear, and
that's
it works.
Really cool.
And then he comes up, hangs in the air like a bouncing ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of strange there. Comes up, the spacing of it comes up there, and it's kind of a hitch. Stays real close in the same area there, then pow, comes over.
Why is that odd?
Because, okay, he's coming out of the water. He's now in motion. The force is carrying him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he suddenly kind of stops right here. Notice the spacing. Oop, wrong one. Spacing right there.
Okay.
The front of the hat.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ends up right there. We go from there up to there. See that big gap?
Yeah, there's a big jump.
Big jump between there. There's the spacing. And then he comes up, and then the spacing suddenly
like eases in.
Is just right there. Right? So he's already in motion from here. Here's the antic coming up. This is correct. Correct. Slowing out, gaining speed, coming up. Boom. Big gap drawing. Right from there to there comes up. And then there's this little hitch. Not hitch. He's still moving forward. But then, for some reason, he just another big gap from here to there. So what I mean is, I'm going to mark off all his. This is all the front edge of his hat, mm-hmm. which is also the spacing for the rest of them. There's all our spacing right here. It goes like this. I'll just bring that one down here for clarity. There, and there. So we can see, let's just call this drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is favoring number 1 right in the middle of an action.
Okay.
Where
why is that not preferred, I guess?
Preferred?
Yeah. Like
For me,
why wouldn't you hold like or do a kind of ease in the middle of an existing action usually?
because it staggers the drawing. It puts a hitch in the drawing. It's not as fluid.
Okay.
For instance, like in Disney animation, they would have kept it. They would have gone here, here, here. That's fine. These being that close. But if this came up here, I would imagine this would be 4, 5, 6 over here. Let me turn this back on. Or there, that's fine too. That's just a constant motion. That's fine. Just keep it going. But you notice he just keeps moving, and this is fine because he's changing. He's crossing over the shape, and that's normal right there. So he's coming out this way and coming back, and then he settles in right there. And that works real good. But going back to that one, okay, so now we can see them all. This one that was here, notice how we're coming out, 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 fine. Pops up there, comes up, let's say here. I think that's where the placement of the other one, and it's a consistent action coming through. 6 comes down there, and then it starts to come back like so. And all of this, notice how in the spacing here, it looks more fluid and accurate as far as spacing goes.
Mm-hmm.
And for this type of animation, this spacing is fine. We're slowing out to a slow in right there. Mm-hmm. So here's the slow in, right, with this one, this one, this one. Out right there. And that works fine. That's your basic principle of animation. Things slow in, slow out. That's your basic principle. Now, I will say this. I didn't notice it when I played at speed. Let's take a look at it. My eye's just not good enough.
I don't notice it either. Is there anything that you can think of where that would be intentional?
Yes. Only thing I can think of, and we should be able to see this. We're going to count them off, see if that particular drawing is on ones. So that's one, ones, 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 ones. I don't know, dude, but it works. Maybe it's, let's see, he's coming up, up, up. He's got drag and stretch right here. Mm-hmm. Maybe right there. Now he's recovering, recoiling up from there. But then he just suddenly, bang, goes over there.
I wonder if it has something to do. You remember whenever we were talking about getting things to read and like the amount of frames that it would take. I wonder if there's something there where they needed to let it read, so they would hang on it for a second. I'm grasping at straws, though.
No, I know. I think the lesson learned here is that I heard Aaron Blaise say one time, there are animators that are very, very technical, and like James Baxter, and Aaron Blaise adores James Baxter's work. And but Aaron Blaze said about himself, he goes, look, I'm not one of these guys that sits there and is so technical and anal about the drawing being directly in the right placement. I think he's more of an emotional animator, and he puts it in there. And if it's working visually, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
What I did learn from him that's very cool is that what I like about him is that he will sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to add in a couple drawings in this area. But he does place them still in the right placement when I've seen him do it. So honestly, dude, I think it's just really I mean, there's a little bit of a hold there, but it's on ones, so it's very hard to see it. I think it would be more fluid if the placement was in. I know it would be more fluid. It's just, it would have to be. It's just the laws of physics. Do they want it for, what is that, 1/24th of a second to hang up there? Maybe so. Maybe so. I might be learning something here, because you look at them go up. It does register over there for a bit more.
I'm trying not to like anticipate the movement, because now that we've looked at it, my eyes are just following that arc to where I know he's going to end up. So I'm trying to just like look at it for what it is.
And it's working fine. I mean, everything like the where they have them. Let me go here. So I didn't really hit this. See where they. This is like right here. There's that crossing the shape. You know, I always talk about. And I'm just looking at his hat. It's not true with anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Oars, everything is body and everything. But he crosses.
Did you see that pop with the oar? It's in front, and then it pops over.
Here? Over here?
Yeah, go back a couple of frames. It's in front.
More so?
No. So step forward. Forward. One more. Okay, so it's in front of his hat. Go to the next frame.
Oh my God. They screwed up there, dude. That was a mistake. That's a classic mistake you're going to find in a lot of water. You'll find it in animation. It happens in Disney. Whoever went to clean this up, they just look. Here's probably what happened. The key assistant did this drawing, and then they did this drawing. They handed it off to the in-betweener.
Oh.
The in-betweener got it and just, had a brain fart. And they put it, because there's no way they wanted it to be here. Here's my theory. When I watch like Warner Brothers and Tex Avery, I'm going to use them mainly as the examples.
Mm-hmm.
When I've watched them frame by frame and I see something like I was talking about the spacing there,
mm-hmm.
The thing that I've learned is, even though I think it might have been a mistake because these guys had to get so much footage out, they couldn't sit there and spend, 2 hours on a drawing. They had to crank this stuff out, and they just became masters at it with full, funny, entertaining animation. My theory is, because they had to get it out, that could be why the placement is real not in the correct spot as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be, maybe I'm finding out something here, that they wanted it to read. It's kind of hard for me to believe for 1/24th of a second that they wanted that to read more. but they had to put it out so quickly. And some of these guys, I was told that Ken Harris, who's regarded, I believe, as probably definitely one of the best Warner Brother animators that ever went there, his drawing, he had a hard time drawing. He had a great follow-up crew. Mm-hmm. But when you see mistakes like that, that's definitely just a mistake. It's just, but I never even noticed that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we watched that for like 15, 20 times.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, this is a good point, getting back when I'm always talking about shapes. Think of the big shapes. The reason we didn't notice it is because the big shapes are moving very fluid. If you squint your eyes and if it was all filled in, it's perfect movement. If it was all black and silhouette, it's perfect movement.
Yeah. And, you know, like, I think that's a good point that you bring up in terms of how much footage these guys were having to put out. It's something that I learned, you know, at one point we were kind of talking about, and that's kind of where I wanted to go. And I would spend a lot of time early in my career, like, you know, it's comics, so you're poring over the pages or whatever, and you kind of start to notice all of those mistakes. And then whenever that shift happened of like, okay, now it's time to be a professional artist and to churn out comics and like just think about the fact that, you know, you're trying to push so many pages through in a month, where at a certain point, it's just got to get done. And out of however many, you know, thousands of drawings in this cartoon, or, you know, hundreds in a comic, you got to forgive a little bit of that, because you just, the speed of production. I think it's easy whenever we're, you know, consuming. And that's one thing that, like, I'll talk to my students about a lot, is just taking the time, since we have the luxury to look at these things at an extended period of time, that whenever you're doing your studies of this stuff, you can be a little bit audacious and correct the drawings. But you have to know those principles. You have to know kind of everything that's underlying. Like, you can't just look at it and be like, oh, it's wrong because, you know, that crosses or whatever. Like, what's the principle behind that? And once you know that, then you can start trying to correct it at your leisure, because it's what you're studying.
Yes, because you're understanding it. And that's the beauty of it. Like what we just did right now. You should use this as a video.
I mean, it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's, I'm telling you, I've seen it in, you know, I don't think there's a problem in Sleeping Beauty. Never saw a glitch in that one, but you see it because it happens. You know, it's human error. It's just human error. But the thing is, does the layman ever notice it? We didn't even notice it when we were first watching it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't notice it at speed when he did that. It was only when we went frame by frame as far as that placement goes. I know for a fact if that drawing was placed further over, it'd be a little bit more fluid, but maybe the animator didn't want it to be fluid. Maybe for that split second, he wanted it to hang up there, like you said, to read. I don't know. Or maybe he just hung up getting in an argument with his wife on the phone and just did the drawing. That's the thing. You never know.